from House Republicans. This is the press conference from House Republicans. And I forgot to mention this yesterday. If you watched yesterday's episode, I did House Republicans first, and then I did Senate Democrats next. The reason that I'm doing House Republicans and not Senate Republicans is because they didn't post a press conference on their profile. So whether if they did one or not today, I'm not 100% for sure, but the House Republicans did. So I figured that was the next best thing, even though I'd prefer to show the Senate Republicans. I'm not going to show the whole thing. It's lengthy. I think it's like 20 minutes because, all right, so here, let me.
Amen.
Oh, so they actually got started a lot earlier. Wow, they got started way earlier. Yesterday, it was like halfway through the video by the time they came in and started speaking. So I'll probably do 3-4 minutes, and I'll repost this if you want to check this out, the video in its entirety. There's a link to my profile below in the description, or you can just go straight to @HouseGOP if you happen to be on the X platform. So let's have a listen, see what they're talking about today with Speaker Mike Johnson.
29 of the Democrats shut down.
Day 29.
Things are getting really tough for the American
just shy of
people.
29,
the Democrats
technically.
are coming near now to a cliff that they will not be able to turn back from. And it's of great concern to everyone who's paying attention to all this. You will note that more air traffic controllers and TSA agents and park rangers are about to go without a paycheck. You've got families and children that rely upon SNAP benefits that are going to go hungry here at the end of the week. You've got more critical workers, by the way, including the people who are the stewards of our nuclear defense arsenal.
80% furloughed.
To stay at home as the government
remains 80% of them.
The Democrats
That's kind of fucked up, man.
Every one of these consequences. So we want to point out a couple of important facts this morning for you.
I cringed when I first read that, and I mentioned that at least a week ago on this show that they were furloughing 80% of the personnel that maintain our nuclear stockpile. And it's like, dude, you probably should have kept that behind closed doors. Yeah, okay, I get it. You want to be transparent and everything, but we have a lot of other countries out there that don't like us very much that do have nuclear capability. I don't know, all I'm saying.
It's no coincidence that polling this week confirms that over 70% of the American people believe the Democratic Party is out of touch.
70%,
amazingly to us. Still, every day.
I bet it's more than that, to be honest.
They turn their backs on more and more hardworking American families.
I think it's because fewer people are watching mainstream media. Every passing day, there's just fewer people watching mainstream media and integrating over to decentralized media. People getting their media either from social media or they're getting it from places like right here, like on YouTube or other podcasts, or even actual news websites that do broadcasting through mediums like on YouTube or even Rumble, places like that. And a lot less people are watching CNN. Like I think the key demographic in CNN for prime time, it's less than 100,000 people. It is insane how little that people are actually watching the mainstream news now. So, and it could have taken something as simply as what happened to Charlie Kirk to just, I mean, imagine how many people woke up when they first learned of that. And then they saw people on their side celebrating it. And they're like, wait a minute, hold the fuck on, man. Like, look, I'm all about, like safe, legal, rare abortion. And I'm all about, social programs. But dude, I didn't realize y'all got this fucking nuts. No, hell no, to hell with this. So we really don't know for sure. And that's why it's going to be so interesting going into the midterms to see how that actually ends up playing out. Because, yeah, it's going to be a long time from now, relatively speaking, especially politically speaking. Things move real fast. Politicians expect your memory to only be like a couple of weeks long at the most. But I think with what happened to Charlie Kirk, I don't think people are ever going to forget that, especially if they happen to be on the internet, specifically on the X platform, where that video, the close-up video of him actually getting shot, and as graphic as that was, a lot of people, like myself, when I first heard about it, I was scrolling through the posts and it just, bam, it just, because on X, those videos, they autoplay when you scroll. And I just saw it. Like I had no preparation for it. I knew exactly where I was standing. I was in my kitchen. It was like 5:30 in the afternoon. It was sunny outside. Like I remembered it so vividly. I'm never going to forget that moment. And I think potentially maybe millions of people are just like me on that. So anyway, I'll continue.
Prolong their pain. And that is exactly what's being felt here. It is incredible to us that they've now voted 14 times between the House and Senate to reject the clean, simple funding bill that would simply reopen the government. 14 times.
Yep, so they voted again today.
At the American people in spite of their pain that they themselves have acknowledged. And as we've explained here, the motivation behind that is very clear. And this is why the polling is indicating what it is. The people
It's
know
fuck
the
the American
Democrats
people.
are responding
That's
to
how
fear.
clear it
It
is.
is their fear of the most radical far left
Yeah,
forces
the
in the
radical
party
left.
that has made them decide to obey the demands of the far left and to shut down the entire government and thereby inflict all this pain on the people. And almost comically at this point, the Democrats are still out trying to convince you that this is somehow Republicans' fault.
Right.
But
It's
the
hilarious.
facts are the facts, and the American people can see that very clearly. They see the truth. We brought you a handy scorecard.
Yeah,
here
they're blaming
so
the
you
Republicans
can,
for
follow the
Obamacare.
votes.
Fucking
This is very
Obamacare.
simple.
I'm
The
not
votes
kidding.
to pay the troops and federal workers and continue SNAP benefits and get air traffic controllers and Border Patrol agents paid. This is the vote tally. You see the dates here. The House did our work back on September 19th, and we voted, Republicans voted yes. Democrats voted no on all
Of
those
course they
things.
did.
And the Senate has now done it an additional 13 times. These are the votes. No one can say that this is in any way the fault of Republicans. We have a clean,
Nope.
simple bill, and everybody knows it.
And look, Democrats will try to convince you that they voted yes to shut down the government. That's not what happened at all. They voted yes to continue spending for the government. They voted yes to continue the funding for the government. Democrats voted no to continue funding for the government. It's that simple. And they do try to twist that around, even on some mainstream media shows where they say, well, they voted to close the government. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They simply didn't.
Democrats are openly admitting that this is their shutdown. You have seen the highlight reel of all of them stumbling into admitting that. And yet they're also incoherently claiming that the shutdown is somehow on the fault of the other party. And the people aren't buying it. And that's why the polling continues to show that the approval of Republicans in Congress is rising with each passing day. And
Good.
the Democrats, at the same time, Democrats in Congress have
I'm not
the
crazy
lowest
about
approval
Republicans,
rating
but
they've
they're
ever had
a hell of a lot better
since
than Democrats
polling
right now.
began, since recorded polling began on these metrics. And here's just an example yesterday. For example, CNN polling showed yesterday the approval of Republicans in Congress is up 8% since the shutdown began among independents. I mean, that's an important metric because people are paying attention. They understand what's happening and they see who is responsible. It's really
Yes,
important.
because they're lying so blatantly. Like what I showed yesterday with Chuck Schumer saying that Trump's main concern is with the ballroom. He's primarily concerned with that. His press secretary even admitted to it. And you've got pundits on CNN, on the farthest left-wing media that are even calling that out and saying that's not what Caroline Leavitt said. They were the reporter asked Caroline Leavitt about different projects happening at the White House, including the Rose Garden. It's undergoing a renovation. And they said, is there anything else happening at the White House? Caroline Leavitt said, no, there's only the Rose Garden and there's the ballroom. But the president, he's a builder at heart, so his main focus is on the ballroom. And all these Democrats are saying that Trump literally said that the ballroom is his only focus right now. He doesn't even care about the shutdown. And even the left-wing media are calling Democrats out on that. And I believe I have a video tonight with another example of that happened either last night or during the day today. And I think independents are probably seeing clips like that in passing and realizing, wow, dude, they are blatantly lying. Like straight up lying.
Thing to watch. Ronald Reagan used to remind
The Democrats,
us
that is.
that you can always trust the American people, and we do. We trust their intelligence, and we trust their understanding of basic civics.
It's
In fact, we
basic
trust the
common
American
sense,
people's
man.
Understanding of civics far more than the Democrats in this building right now. And a quick reminder of that is that the people know that in the House of Representatives, you need
It's
a
a
majority
simple
vote,
majority.
218 votes to pass legislation.
Exactly.
To pass a clean, continuing resolution to fund the government.
But it ain't a
That's
direct
exactly
democracy
what
in
we
the Senate,
did
folks.
On September 19th. They also know that in the Senate, you have to have 60 votes to
Yeah.
pass substantive legislation.
Not a simple
And
majority.
We've only got 53.
It's almost as if we
Republican
don't
seats. That
live in a
means we
democracy.
need, by the math, at least 7 Democrats to join us to reopen the government. Now, in other words, the Democrats are the only reason that the government is closed, and there is no other way to spin that, to
Nope.
make something
That
else
simple.
true about it. And of course, the Democrats know all that. We've seen their party leaders, and we've now made their phrases and their comments.
All right, I'll just
famous
go
here
another
every
minute
morning.
at the most.
Chuck Schumer, Whip Catherine Clark in the House. They've openly admitted that they're using the pain of the American people as their leverage. Why? To show to their base that they're fighting. And they're counting on the American people not noticing all this. And that's the very reason why we have to
Yeah,
come
for
in
sure.
here every morning and relay the simple truths. I mean, somebody handed me this as I was walking in here yesterday, according to the Media Research Center study, by a 2.5 to 1 margin, The Capitol Hill Press Corps has tweeted more about the House calendar during the shutdown than the negative consequences of the Democrat shutdown, than the troubles that we have, the hardships that are being experienced because of the troop pay and WIC funding and flights grounded and SNAP funding. You guys are writing more about the House calendar than the real pain that's being inflicted on the American people, and that's why we have to come in and relay the simple facts. Now, there's a misguided strategy.
Okay, all right, I'll cut it there. I don't want it to go too long because obviously it's a long video in its entirety. However, on the individual politician level, at least on social media, that's about the shutdown. It's just about all they're talking about. They're constantly talking about it. Probably 90% of everything that I read through, trying to gather content for each episode, is just strictly House shutdown related. So anyway, I'm going to play this too. I'm going to try to keep it at the same length because I want to be fair. To both sides so we can get, a decent idea as to how Senate Democrats are portraying the shutdown. And we'll just get a listen for that and we'll see what they're talking about. So I'm just going to skip around to see where we're at. See, why is it just Chuck Schumer and nobody else? Like we're, Senator Mike Johnson had 5-6 people behind him and it's just him and I think I know who he is. I can't remember his name offhand. That's not Klobuchar, is it? It might be. All right. Anyway, whatever.
Man, Donald Trump. We're now.
All right. So what do we got here? Yeah, everybody is going to be in good shape. Yep. Donald Trump, when asked if he would fund SNAP next month. Okay. That's about as vague as you can possibly get. And the Republican lie, they can fund SNAP right now. Well, yeah, you can fund SNAP by simply voting yes to reopen the government. If you vote yes, you're passing spending. Guess what a part of that spending is? SNAP benefits, because the continuing CR bill funds the entire government. It keeps the government funded in its entirety, including SNAP, because that's paid for by the government. And it only carries government funding until the end of November, where the primary funding bill is up for voting on the House and the Senate floor. So we're almost at the point now where the CR bill is almost irrelevant because we're coming up to the point where they are going to vote for next year's spending bill. All they have to do is vote to reopen the government. And like I said at the beginning of the show, within minutes, everybody will have SNAP benefits. Everybody who's on SNAP benefits will have their cards reloaded.
Days from open enrollment. Today, the window shopping begins. People are going to see drastic increases in their health care costs.
Thanks to Obamacare.
People are going to sit at the dinner table Friday
Strictly
night.
Obamacare.
With a pit,
they can't spend that
in the pit of their stomach and saying, how are we going to do this? We can't afford another $4,000 or $5,000 a year, $10,000, even $20,000 in some cases for health care. How are we going to do without health care, but how are we going to pay for health care? And now, for the first time in history, a president, Donald Trump, is refusing to fund SNAP during a shutdown. 42 million Americans, hungry children.
He's talking about emergency funding that is allocated for SNAP benefits in a time of national emergency. President Trump cannot touch those funds because there is not a national emergency that he can declare. Technically, he could declare a national emergency with regard to this, but this is truly not an emergency. It isn't, because it takes five senators to reopen the government. It's a simple yes choice. That's it. And even if an emergency is declared, as far as I understand, the president can't unilaterally open those funds up to SNAP beneficiaries. It has to be through an act of Congress. Congress has to take those emergency SNAP benefits and funnel them into the SNAP program directly. President Trump, apparently, from what I've read, he can't touch that. Only Congress can, which, of course, Chuck Schumer is.
Middle-class families someone's lost the job. Veterans, senior citizens who struggle to pay for their food. All of these people will lose their SNAP benefits. Not because the money's gone. Not because it's not permitted. Because Donald Trump ordered it stopped. Donald Trump is a vindictive politician and a heartless man.
I wouldn't really call him a politician, though.
Let's be clear. This does
Historically,
not need to happen.
How long has he been a politician? For half a century?
Under any president, Democrat or Republican, has SNAP been cut off in a shutdown, and Trump knows he can do it. Here's what he said. Yeah, everybody is going to be in good shape. Yup. Donald Trump, when asked if he would fund SNAP next month. That's what he
Notice the lack of sourcing. We have no idea where that came from. No source anywhere. Nowhere to
said,
speak of.
this
Typical of
October.
Democrats.
But then all of a sudden, seeing how badly they're losing on health care,
they count on people being that stupid.
decided to use these 42 million innocent Americans as pawns. Back in 2016, here's Sonny Perdue, the agriculture secretary. They funded it under Trump. In the last shutdown, rather 2019, January 8th, 2019. They funded it. So don't believe the bull, and I hope in every...
fully fund SNAP benefits. That has nothing to do with the emergency SNAP benefits. It's like $7 billion that they have set aside for an emergency. This has nothing to do with an emergency.
Story
dude.
you will write that they can fund
Besides,
it on their own.
Years ago.
And I'll tell you something else. John Thune is responsible. The Hawley bill now has 11 Republican co-sponsors and many, many Democrats, including myself, Senator Klobuchar, and Senator Lujan. We have all co-sponsored the Hawley bill. Today, tomorrow, if John Thune would put it on the floor, it would pass overwhelmingly.
Not needed.
But he's afraid of Trump.
Not necessary.
He's going along
Just
in this
pass the
heartless,
funding bill.
cruel thing in Trump. Just a few weeks ago, Trump's own U.S. Department of Agriculture confirmed it had $6 billion in emergency funding.
$6 billion. That's what it was.
When asked about SNAP at that point, here's what he said. Yep, everybody's going to be in good shape. That means he's got the money, folks.
That could literally mean anything, dude.
And these Republican lies,
the
plain and
context
simple,
could be
that they
infinite.
don't have the money, are lies. But they're vicious lies. They're hurtful lies. They're harmful lies. Okay? Last Friday, all of a sudden, Trump ordered that the USDA delete the plan and refuse to use the money. No reason, no explanation, plain cruelty. Cruelty that even Trump back in 2019 didn't do, but he's gotten so much worse and so much meaner and so much more desperate because he knows the American people are turning against him on health care, and as Amy will mention,
Yeah, because he totally controls
later,
Congress.
on SNAP as well.
Not the
Trump is
minority leader that
weaponizing
you're hearing
hunger.
from right now.
He's turning millions of children and seniors and veterans into political pawns. He's choosing politics over people, cruelty over compassion. And let's be clear about this. They've been on a crusade. The Republicans have been on a crusade against SNAP all year. They slashed it by $200 billion
Fraud,
this summer
waste,
to pay
and
for their
abuse.
tax cuts.
Because they're trying to
For
downsize
billionaires.
government spending.
So they don't.
Because we have a
they've never
$38
wanted
trillion
SNAP.
deficit. That's the
They
reason.
don't want it now. But as again, they're using these 40 million innocent people as pawns. It's a disgrace. They can end.
All right. Well, anyway, they I'll just leave it there. But they cut a lot of the SNAP funding, to my understanding, because they are extending the program for people eligible for SNAP benefits to a maximum of only 2 years and not for generations and generations. And if you collect SNAP benefits, you have to have children aged under 14 years old. And if you don't, you have to be working a minimum of 20 hours a week. Anyway, when they ran all the numbers, ran all the statistics and everything, they determined that the amount of money that's needed for SNAP benefits is X amount of money, not this amount of money that we're currently funding. So we're going to pass this amount after we did all of our calculations, 2 years maximum, this, that, and the other. And that was the cut, to my understanding, of the SNAP benefits. So anyway, so I'll move on to the next thing. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you take a quick second to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And check out The Swamp, which drops Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern, covering the daily happenings inside the federal machine. Thank you very much for watching.